everyone, and welcome to episode 23 of Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. We're going to do restaurant reviews. That's what we're doing today. That's all we're going to do today on this episode. I've got more stuff coming for you guys, but I'm a little behind on my restaurant reviews as far as the podcast. Of course, you can go to auntlaneyskitchen.com. It's generally easier for me to write them up first and then kind of look over them as I'm, recording the review. It's just a lot easier to do that. And so let's start off with what I did last month. I went to City Diner for the very first time. I've been eyeing City Diner for a while, but it took me a minute. I admit it took me a minute to get there. And so I ended up there last month, though I finally made it there. So I tried their infamous breakfast. Now, what I love about them is they serve their food all day. They're like, what do you want? Because everything's up for grabs on this menu. But I wanted the breakfast because I'd heard so many good things about the breakfast. So I kept it really simple. I ordered the number one classic and I got four strips of bacon, scrambled eggs, country fries, and a biscuit. So I appreciated that the texture of the bacon was tender, but it was well cooked, right? Like I like tender bacon, but I don't want it to be so tender that it's crispy. I don't want any crisp. Then I don't want it so undercooked that it's so fatty. They had the right, they nailed it right there. Now the scrambled eggs were very fluffy. And I know you're like, oh, I didn't know you was rich like that ordering those scrambled eggs. But again, it came with the meal, so it's pretty good. And the biscuit was nice, and it had a nice element to the homestyle breakfast, and it wasn't dry because sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes biscuits are dry, right? And I feel like again, I am not a big biscuits and gravy person because I feel like it's a scam. Like, why do I need all this gravy on this bread unless it's dry? Okay, I do not like dry bread. That I There, I said it. I know it's controversial. And of course the home fries were good. Look, potatoes, it's hard for me to not like potatoes. Like if I don't like potatoes that I'm being served, either they're super cold or they're just not, they weren't made well. And but again, that's rare. I can only maybe count like maybe five times in my life where the potatoes were just not potatoing. Okay. So that is City Diner. And again, that review is on my Aunt Lainey's Kitchen blog, and I posted it on March 20th. And so now let's move on to now listen, I've talked about NYX Lounge and I'm actually going to be heading there pretty soon again for my second time. I'm meeting a girlfriend. We're going to do like a ladies chat, like kind of catch up, that kind of thing when you're ladies of a certain age or just ladies of any age or just people in general. You get busy when you're an adult with your corporate life, with your family life, and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this person in like 3 months. We got to do something about that." So I'm excited. I'm going to be meeting her at NYX Lounge soon, and she's excited because she's never been there, and this is the best kept secret. I love this place so much. It has the vibe of like I say it. It's like being at this kind of elegant community center. They've got games that you can go and play. They've got like a TV to watch. There's a fireplace. There's like seating. It's just a great, and they've got like picnic bench style seating. So it kind of reminds me of really honestly an indoor winery, right? That, you can, go in and it's casually elegant. Like if you want to dress up, you can, or you can kind of, I've seen people in there, I think they were in like darker jeans, like a happy hour crowd. But yeah, I mean, and again, I was telling the owners, this is a perfect spot to have like a little ladies gathering or even some of the older people in your realm. It's a nice quiet place so you could hear them, right? If they've got some problems with hearing aids and all that other kind of stuff, like you can actually have a conversation with people and it's not super super loud in there, right? It's just the right amount of decibel in there. So I love it. It's a nice vibe. And definitely would recommend that. And, again, the lemon mocktail raspberry that I had was really, really good. Tomorrow, hopefully, I don't have any allergy problems where I have to take medicine before I go. But I'm, trying for maybe more of like a little, maybe a mocktail, definitely a mocktail, and then maybe like a little bit of a grown-up drink, right? I might get like a little adult beverage with that. I definitely want to try them. So fingers crossed, I don't have to do anything with any kind of allergy medication. Okay. Another place I've been trying to go to for a very long time was Afterword. You guys, this place, it's Tavern and Shelves. It's a cocktail lounge with books. It's like a bookstore cocktail lounge. And I've been trying to go there for forever. Yes, forever. So I was trying to go there forever. So it's again cocktail lounge, bookstore, and neighborhood joint. I have to add that. And I ordered the Monster in the Midwest mocktail, and it's a non-alcoholic vodka, lemongrass, ginger, coconut cream, galanga, and lime. It had a really smooth texture and it was frothy. And I loved how the ingredients, it just kind of like, I felt like I was drinking kind of like one of those old school potions. Like I was going to drink it. Someone's going to bust out and start singing the Monster Mash. But unfortunately, I believe this is part of a seasonal menu. And so when I had this, it was the last day, right? Last month, it was the last day that they were serving this. And so they were getting their new menu together. So I don't think it's on the menu anymore. You might want to check Afterword Tavern and Shelves. I have a link to the blog article that's dated March 25th, 2025 on Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. But check that out. But yes, they do seasonal things. And again, I love that because that keeps things fresh and everything. It's also helpful for sourcing. The old procurement part of me always comes out. I always get so geeked up about that kind of stuff. Okay, now we're going to Overland Park. We've left the crossroads. We're going to Overland Park and we're going to Strang Hall. We're going to a place called Tora Zushi. Now, this is from February, okay, you guys? Yeah, you're like, dang it, girl. Yes, please try not to judge. But I was in a whirl of activities and I was like, okay, I went to this place, I took pictures, now I have to write this up, and now I have to, then I wrote it up like a month later, and now I'm like, okay, now I have to podcast about it like about 6 weeks later, but that's okay, better late than never. So this is located in Strang Hall, as I said, downtown Overland Park, and I went there on a Saturday, right? And I like Saturday like lunchtime. It's a really good time, and this depends on which part because of like the year that you go, right? So it's February, and I believe that the chief said, I want to say that the Super Bowl was already over, so it was like the Saturday after, wah wah. And so I went in there and it wasn't super busy. Now, as I was leaving, because I got there maybe like, I don't know, maybe 11:15 or so. As I was leaving, there the people it started filling up. So it seems to me it's that kind of place that fills up between like 12 and 2. You're going to start getting more of the families coming in, people walking around. Um, and also especially with like the farmers market, Overland Park's farmers market starting up, you're going to have it's going to get busy again. It's going to get pretty full again. So just FYI. So what I had there was I always keep it simple because I hadn't had Tora Zushi. I don't think I'd had it for a very long time. So because of that, I had to do what I always do. Got my California rolls and my edamame, and I always say if you can make that, then I'm willing to try something else that you have. The California rolls were very fresh. They had a nice dab of the wasabi. It gave it a nice spicy taste without being overwhelming. And the edamame was crisp and it had the right amount of saltiness. Sometimes when you have edamame, it's either no salt at all or it's so salty you're like, oh my gosh, like you can feel your fingers swelling up from all the salt. And again, the peas, they were they were crisp without being too crunchy where you're like, how old are these? So again, I definitely would go back there and try something else since they did pass my California roll and edamame test. And again, it's a very important test for me. That test means everything. Okay, now we're moving back up north. We are in Parkville, and last month I went to Johnny's Tavern in Parkville, and it's the very first time I have been to this Johnny's Tavern. Johnny's Tavern they're all over our city, and so I used to hang out there's like one in Overland Park. I used to hang out in the one like in the Power and Light, like all these different places, but I didn't know that they had one in Parkville. So, I went in with my North Kansas City Lady Squad, as I call them, part of it, not the whole crew. I was a busy Saturday, and I'm not eating red meat right now. And because for me, red meat, like I'm eating a big steak, then I want a ton of potatoes, then I want a ton of soda, and I'm trying to give up soda. And I know that the red meat is what really makes me crave the soda. I don't know why that is. I'm always like, if I eat a steak, I want like, a soft drink right there with me. So I'm like, I didn't want to chance anything. So I got a sausage pizza and a sausage and black olive pizza is what I did. And it'd been a while since I had, ordered a pizza from Johnny's Tavern, but oh my gosh, it was so good. But one thing I did forget is how thin the crust is. So I ate that whole pizza. Now it was like a small, it was a 12-inch pizza, but I was super hungry on top of it in my defense. But it was so good. I could not stop eating it. It was really thin. I'm trying to think whether or not I got breadsticks. I don't think I did. I think I just stuck with the pizza for some reason. And so it was very good. The crust was thin, but the cheese didn't overpower it. It didn't like it wasn't overpowering at all. Everything meshed well together. You had the light saltiness of the black olives in there. You had like the Semecas. I think I'm saying that right. Semecas, Italian sausage. Oh my gosh, so good. And that just was get like every pop was just like amazing. Every bite of that sausage, it was so good. Okay, so definitely would go back there and have that and have the Italian sausage pizza. And listen, I love Johnny's Burgers. And so when they were like, "Hey, let's meet there," I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm being tested by the universe. I am totally being tested by the universe." So now, Trotters on the River. I loved it. I was strolling through. This is last month. This is in Atchison, Kansas. I was strolling through uh the museums in Atchison. Amelia Earhart has a couple of museums there. There's the Birthplace Museum, then there's like which is like her childhood home. Then they have the Hangar Museum, which is more the airport. And if you follow me on Quaint and Cozy KC, I believe that I did an episode on this last week or maybe within the past 2 weeks. Time right now is like a weird funnel. And so I was hungry, but this is now, I was still eating red meat at this point. So I stopped for it on this, like on the river, right? There's like a river walk in Atchison. It's called Trotters on the River is the restaurant. And it's got like this neighborhood joint vibe where you kind of go and watch like the games. And then it's got like pretty friendly staff and it's got this kitschy it just looks like a vacation place. It really does. It looks like a little vacation roadhouse place. So, of course, in a place like that, I have to get a bacon cheeseburger basket. And that's I was really hungry. And I was like, okay, I'm super hungry. And I knew I had to kind of keep pushing through. So I'm like, I needed something to kind of fill me up while I continued to walk because it was like a little break for me before I started really walking downtown. And I appreciate it. Now, usually I don't like cheddar cheese, but it actually worked on this burger, and the bacon was underneath there, and it was a nice salty pop of flavor. And then, of course, when I'm on vacation, when I'm doing something fun, when I see the crinkle fries, that's when I feel like a 10-year-old again. Now, don't get me wrong, I like a good steak fry, a good shoestring, tater tots, onion rings, but something about a crinkle fry that's like vacation time, right? Vacation, all I ever wanted. Okay, that is what that signifies to me. I also appreciated that they put the vegetables on the side. Okay, I am more of an on the side person than like having my vegetables on that burger. Now, look, if I'm hungry enough, I won't take it. I'll just will bite into the burger. I don't care. But I just prefer it that way because I want to place like one of the pickles and part of the onion underneath the bun, and then part of the pickles and onions on top of the burger. So again, it can get dramatic. I also wash this down with an unsweetened iced tea. And I just, that's important for me because and I know you're like, unsweetened iced tea. I thought we were friends. But as I've gotten older, I really prefer the unsweetened iced tea more because the sugar sometimes, if I eat a sweetened iced tea, or if I drink it, I mean, then it's like it's interfering with my taste buds as far as like tasting, the full experience of the food. That is my kind of take on it. I know there's people, sweet tea lovers that are like, girl. So yes. Okay. Now we are still grooving along and last month again, you're like, okay, March. I went to Happy Gillis Cafe and Hangout for the first time. It was so exciting, you guys. I did the breakfast sandwich, and that's like Webster City bacon, Campo Lindo scrambled eggs, cheddar cheese on the farm to market, grains galore toast. It was so good. Of course, I had my unsweetened iced tea, but it was super good. Once again, the scrambled eggs, like were very fluffy and flavorful. And that means a lot. I grew up on scrambled eggs because that's what my parents liked. And so, and again, I like it, but I'll also eat like, certain over easy eggs. I'll eat fried eggs, like, whatever. But, scrambled eggs for me, it's very nostalgic. So I really appreciated that they, did a good job on there. And again, it went on the sandwich and it wasn't like they were fluffy and not stringy. Because, sometimes scrambled eggs, if they're not handled properly or if they're old, they've been sitting out or whatever, they get kind of, there's like a stringiness to them. But I appreciated these were like fresh, super fresh. So every bite, everything I bought, it was just so good, so good. Um, then I also and again, the bacon flavor, you can't go wrong with bacon for me. But and they also served it with like these orange wedges, which I really appreciate. It was like a nice little pop of citrus versus having to drink like a whole kind of a glass of orange juice. And that grain was really the toasted grain, it stood up to the heaviness. When I mean the heaviness, I mean they gave you a lot of the scrambled eggs. So it wasn't something where it's like you get like a little, they dusted on there because eggs are expensive. They dusted on there and there's bits of the bacon and then you just kind of make the best of it. No, it was like full on eggs and then big pieces of bacon. So that's what we got going on there for these reviews. It's so funny because every time I'm always like, okay, I'm behind on these reviews. I've got to get these reviews. I've got to do these things. And I feel like it's like, okay. And then I get distracted with another restaurant or I'm looking at a recipe and I'm like, oh, I got to do this. And I'm like, wait a minute, these reviews, they are just piling up over here. And I feel like I know it sounds silly, but I feel like a little bit like these reviews are judging me a little bit. I was feeling, a little judged as I kind of, I mean, as want to do when it takes you so long because you're like running around and doing things to review things. Okay, so I have got that. Now listen, I went to Corvino's in February and I struggled to write about it because there's just, I mean, oh my gosh, it's like we had so many just amazing dishes there. And the Caesar salad was so good. And it wasn't a traditional, because again, this is like plates. So these are meant to be shared. Now, some of it I could have just eaten on my own, I'm not gonna lie, but it's kind of meant to like you bring like a few people there and you just kind of like maybe two or three, four people there, you order like a few things and then you eat it and I thought that I thought that it was really good, some really good portions. I mean that's I really appreciated how they had their portions. So we got like that Caesar salad and it had like it was just the cheese, everything just kind of went with, and there was anchovy in there, and again that is the for me anchovy, a dried olive anchovy. That is the real deal with Caesar salads. Back in the day, like in the 90s, I used to work a project job and it was in the warehouse district of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And there was a place, and I cannot remember the name of it, but they were always, and I worked across the street from it. And like I'd have to, I worked a couple jobs. So I would get there about 5:30. And so I'd work from 5:30 to 9, and then I would take like a break at 7 and run over there. Like I'd call in an order for Caesar salad and I'd run over there and pick it up and, eat a little bit before I finished everything up. And oh my gosh, so amazing. So I got like a little bit of nostalgia with how they were serving this Caesar salad. And I will post pictures. I haven't posted them yet because I was trying to figure out how do I write about this? And then sometimes you just can't because it's just so like for me, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed um with this experience. It is so good. And so yeah, and then I'm trying to see because again, this was from February, so I don't know if everything is still on the menu. But we also I had like a nice kind of mocktail and it was really, really good and it was really foamy. And then there was a pork, we did like a pork chop, and I'm not seeing that on the menu. There was a nice pork chop that had sauce on it. And then there was the macaroni and cheese. Oh my gosh, it was so good. That macaroni and cheese was heavenly. And that they had it on, like I'm looking right now to see. I'm not sure that I am seeing this on the latest menu because we did eat there back in February. But unfortunately, we did not get a dessert because we were so full. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel so full right now. But yeah, there was like a mac and cheese situation that was super good. And yeah, so I'm just gonna post the pictures on here and just with the realization and the understanding that, some of these menus are not on this, some of these menu items are not on the current menu, and that's okay. But I will bless you with the photos, and it'll just kind of be like a photo lookbook um situation. Okay. So speaking of situations, I've got another situation that I want to talk to you about. And that situation is actually it just literally occurred. So at the Hideout. Now I'm not sure that I've ever really reviewed the Hideout for real because like the last time I went was a little bit ago and they were having some challenges like everybody is with like, being a little understaffed at the time and it was packed because I was there at like 5:30, which is a very packed time versus, this time I was there like at 6 something. It was like 6:15, 6:30. So, the crowd had kind of slowed down a little bit and so, I received my food. It was good. And so I will talk a little bit about that later. But I just kind of it's been a long time. So I really want to give that review all that I have. But I definitely would say to go to the Hideout, I will do a review. They are on a limited menu, but the things that they do have are still pretty good. So okay, we're moving on from that one because that will be a next time thing because I really want to give that the reverie that it deserves. And then I have the three owls. Oh my gosh, the three owls. So good. So good. I haven't written about it yet. I've got all the pictures. It's just so hard to describe how good everything is. But again, that is coming down. Like I'm even writing this down. I want to make sure that I don't skip over this, that I have my three owls, which is in the Elms Hotel and Spa, three owls, and we'll talk about the Hideout next time. And honestly, I will probably have more things to and then I went to Waldo Thai. But that again, these three things, they all need their own episode as far as like me talking about them and everything because they just some remarkable food and it's very different. Everything, every place there, it's got different vibes and I'm here for that. I'm here for that kind of experience, just like being eclectic, all of that stuff. So this is the restaurant review, kind of part one. I'll be coming out with part two. I'll probably have maybe a couple more to add to the other three that I'll talk about when I come back with the next one, part two of this, which will be episode 23.1, I think I'll call it. I'm going to write that down. 23.1, so you know that we are on kind of the same page. And I'm really going to work harder at trying to kind of crank these out because a lot of these were already written, And so I'm like, oh, wait, I've got to do that. And they're doing construction on my house. And so, and they're even doing it on Saturday, which again, in the long run, that will help me. But, you know, the times that I am like recording my podcast, they are working. And so they don't, leave until like a little bit after 6 o'clock. So as a result, I'm limited when I can actually record something. So again, thanks so much for supporting me. You can go to antlanies.com. I'm sorry, antlanieskitchen.com and find me there on the website. I'm antlanieskitchen.com on TikTok, antlanieskitchen.com on Instagram. And yes, I am here and I'm also on YouTube. My following is very small on YouTube. Like I think I have one subscriber, but like again, I'm working to build that up and that will take time. And that's how I view everything. I mean, I know sometimes like people are like, "Oh my gosh, you only have like 10 YouTube followers or whatever." That's cool. I'm going to entertain them the best way that I can because right now for me this is just like a supercharged hobby that I'm pursuing, just something that because I need to do it because if it weren't for these podcasts and my blogs, I would just be boring my friends with my restaurant reviews, and they'd be like, yay, great. Like my friends would ask me, hey, should I go here? And I'm like, okay, what experience are you looking for? What vibe? Are there any allergies? Like all these things. Again, these are important questions, but sometimes people are like, girl, I'm just hungry and I got people coming in. Like, just tell me where to go. Okay. So again, that's what happens. Take care, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. And I've got more stuff coming down. I've got like part 2 of the interview with Dr. V. You're going to want to check out soon. I'm going to be posting that in the next week or two, and then of course part 2 of the food review, my 23.1. And I am working to get more interviews, but as I said, with my place being a construction zone for the next 2, 3 weeks, it's going to be a little bit challenging to conduct those interviews at my house. So, again, talk to you later, you guys. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.